Grace and peace to all who do the will of our Father in heaven. Paul Begley has been on my watch list for a long time. For many years, I used to follow him. Let's say, um, I'm talking about back when I thought he was legit. It had to be at least 10 years ago. And yeah, probably about 10 years. And so around the time that I began to study the Jezebel spirit and be led, because this wasn't all intellectual. This wasn't like an intellectual revelation or something, because I can't take any credit for the things that the Father allows me to see. After all these years of seeing it and watching other people not be able to see it, though it was clearly present and clearly in their faces and also clearly written, I can only draw the conclusion that there is a spiritual element to whether people can see or not, or at least see what I'm saying, in that it just may not be given to everybody to see what I'm talking about. And that's why I tell the Father, just as long as I know that I have told the truth, that's enough for me. And but around that time that I began to study and I got into it, and I started looking at Paul Begley um, not suspiciously, I guess suspiciously, because I noticed that there was never a condemnation of the Catholic Church. And I also noticed that in the chat rooms that I was often in, because he had a radio show that he used to broadcast on his website, and there was a chat room on that website. It was full of Catholics. I mean, not full, but there were Catholics in there. And there are some places where certain people shouldn't feel comfortable. Not that you have to go out of your way to make them uncomfortable, but when you tell the truth, they are going to become uncomfortable. And so he wasn't telling the truth. And it got to a point where I was like, okay. I started to just come out and say in the chat room, the Queen of Heaven is Satan. And I would get banned from the chat room. And that happened multiple times. And so fast forward to this many years later, I was very suspect of him. But I stopped watching them for a while. I just wasn't really paying attention to them because I just don't have time. I don't want to be bothered by it, actually. There's enough, people like Jonathan Kleck out there, and Zen Garcia, and all these other many other Gnostic teachers, Enter the Stars. These other Gnostic teachers are out there, and so Paul Begley just kind of fell on the back burner. But he made a post today. He shared a video today, and in this video by somebody, it was actually a video from somebody else, but he mirrored it on his channel. And they say that there's not like an outright condemnation of the whole idea of a Virgin Mary statue crying and weeping and allegedly doing all this stuff. But it wasn't exactly, there wasn't a clear message against that thing. It was kind of just left like this thing happened, moving on. more or less like that. And I find that there was nothing in that video that was really of any worth. There was nothing in there that was really, in my opinion, worth him sharing. So other than the fact that him putting out this video about the Virgin Mary weeping, a statue of the Virgin Mary weeping, which was the biggest story in that whole little collection, or not the collection, but the assortment of news topics that were talked about in that video. That was the biggest thing. And like I said, there was no clear message of whether it was good or bad. In fact, I would dare say, by nature of him sharing the video, it would very, very much appear that he has not only no problem with it, but that he is showing his Catholic audience this thing because they all will think it's significant. And so I already suspect him from long ago of being a secret Catholic or a Jesuit. And he's sharing this without comment. Now, I tagged him in that post, in the community post on YouTube, and said, I know what you are. I don't know if he's going to see that community post or not, because I really don't know if anybody sees the community post that I tagged him in. I know one I tagged a few people in like a while ago, and they responded, they saw it. But other than that, most people who are tagging community posts never respond. So I don't even know if they ever actually see those things. But I said, hey, I know what you are in that community post. And then, some minutes after I posted it, some guy with the name Sacred Heart 6578 or whatever, something like that, replies in the comments, the pot calling the kettle black. I'm like, well, first of all, do you even know what the pot is? Because that didn't apply at all. That wasn't the right application of that at all. Because if I don't even know if he understood what I was insinuating 100%, but the fact is he had the name Sacred Heart. That's Catholic. So my question is, what do you think you're defending Paul Begley for? That's the question in my mind to that person. What exactly are you defending him for? Are you defending him because he looks Catholic? Because then why would I be the Pope? Because I'm not Catholic. Is he trying to say? I mean, it doesn't make sense. But it makes him even look more, and it's even more incriminating that this person comes to his rescue. So he must have followed to my channel from the comments that I was leaving on Paul Begley's video. And I commented under somebody else's comment saying how he was what did I say in that comment? I think I said he was he has never spoken against the Virgin Mary or spoken against that Mary worship. So maybe that person took a look at my channel after, or somebody in that comment section looked at that comment and then looked at my channel and saw my post. And it just happened to be a Catholic. You see, I may not have the evidence simply because I didn't look for it. I didn't devote time and energy to searching through his stuff for evidence. But I do feel, I don't want, you always want to be careful about how you judge, because you only know so much. You don't see how people really are from just a few minutes or a few interactions. And I don't want to be presumptuous and say that the Holy Spirit told me this and the Holy Spirit told me that. But if I did ever have a moment where I said the Spirit is telling me something about this person, that would be this with Paul Begley. That he is a Catholic, if not a Jesuit, and that he is trying to he has not trying to. He has created an audience where both Catholics and Protestants congregate together, and you can only do that when you don't tell the truth about the Catholic Church. And the look, Protestant churches got sins too. They got wrong doctrines too. But there are some blatantly bad. That Queen of Heaven worship got to go. It got to get called out. It got to get dealt with. And if you don't do it, and your audience is just comfortable sitting up there, to me, that means you're one of them. You won't do it because you're one of them. You bend the knee to the Virgin Mary as well. Paul Begley. If I'm wrong, I will see a message from you condemning that Queen of Heaven veneration in the Catholic Church. Somewhere in your, give me a link to it. Give somebody, post a link. I don't know why I'm getting so many messages now, but anyway, sorry about those messages. So thank you all for watching and listening. If anybody knows a link of where he is speaking against the Catholic doctrine, the Catholic Church, and that Virgin Mary veneration and worship, then send me the link so I can see it. So and I remember though he had a crucifix on his shelf, and that crucifix went flying off his shelf. I remember that crucifix. What is he doing with a crucifix? So anyway, thank you all for watching.